DOGE and Elon Musk have just exposed a decades-old underground mine. You're looking at it. It's in Boyers, Pennsylvania, and seemingly it's in the middle of nowhere. But it's where the United States federal government stores and processes retirement applications. Here's how Elon Musk described it.
There's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. And you look at a picture of this mine. We'll post some pictures afterwards. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. So it looks like it's like a time warp. And then the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government. And the elevator breaks down sometimes, and then nobody can retire. Doesn't that sound crazy? There's like 1,000 people that work on this.
Wow. Now, a group of anonymous employees told the Butler Eagle from the Office of Personnel Management that they don't have an elevator, but nonetheless, look at these pictures. This is stunning. All of the paperwork stored right here. It looks like a time warp. And you can see inside this facility, these massive columns of limestone that's holding it all up. Millions of paper files are stored right here. And according to DOGE, every month, the facility takes about 10,000 applications for retirements and then sorts through them entirely by hand. Now, it's unbelievable that the government of the world's foremost superpower processes retirement applications 230 feet underground. There's one person who is not surprised by it, and he's sitting in the middle of our couch, and his name is Jason Chaffetz.
I got to tell you, there are a lot of storage facilities like this, and corporate America uses them all the time. But the idea that you have to do this by hand, that it's not automated, is ridiculous. Right. Elon Musk is 110% right. But if you want a secure facility that is temperature controlled, impervious to people getting in, a lot of caves are used throughout the country for corporate America. But this is not the first. Elon Musk, welcome to the show, because we've been talking about this for a while. Do you know in the military, they actually process rank advancements and pay increases with punch cards? They literally could not, they had to keep these like 80-year-old people employed because they were the only ones that knew how to fix the machines.
So the Washington Post did a deep dive on this, Kaylee, and it's fascinating. It talks about how some of these workers are depressed because they don't have windows. I don't blame them. I would be too. They order pizza down to the mine. It's really interesting. But here's what WAPO found. They said this: held up by all that paperwork in the mine runs as slowly now as it did in 1977. During the past 30 years, administrations have spent more than $100 million trying to automate the old-fashioned process in the mine and make it run at the speed of computers. They could not. Well, I know one man who can. Maybe it's the guy who sends rockets to space with SpaceX.
Yeah, and what's always telling is that you don't see any of the Democrats or the bureaucrats who are defending these programs. They never defend them on the merits. They never say, well, it's good that we keep all of our retirement paperwork 230 feet under the ground for these very specific reasons. Or no, it's very good that we sent $50 million of a condom shipment to wherever in the world because of these very specific reasons. Their only argument is that it is bad that Elon Musk is trying to change it for unspecified reasons. Well, that's not a very good explanation here, because if you can't defend something on the merits, then what is the point of keeping things as is? Why can Elon Musk not come in and try and update these systems, change things to make them more efficient and more efficient for the American taxpayer?
And on efficiency, you know, Jason Chaffetz, you flagged this for us. I do want to play it. It's something that you found out about floppy disks.
This is an 8-inch floppy disk. It takes 3.2 million of these to equal one flash drive. So you can go get a flash drive down, you know, at Best Buy, or you can get 3.2 million of these to get the same amount of data stored. And this is still what the Department of Defense is using.
Quite a visual.
It is absolutely stunning. I went on an AWACS airplane to go check it out. This was 2010. They were excited because they were just now installing Windows 95.
Yeah.
So to put out a bounty, let's go find out the most arcane system out there. I guarantee you there are places in the administration still using Windows 95.
Yeah, but those were not the windows they were looking at in the dungeon.
Yeah.
They wanted real windows. Look, two things hit me. There is probably a sea of litigants out there who have been waiting for their retirements to be processed. They're hand counting 10,000 a year, and for 1 year, we looked at the number that they did was a little bit more than 7,000. I mean, not only is it inefficient, it's cruel.
Yeah.
Like, if you're waiting to retire and you need that process after you spent your whole life doing something for the federal government, and they're so inefficient that they can't even thank you properly. And if you think thank you shouldn't come with money, I don't know what planet you live on. The other thing why are they quibbling over whether or not it's an elevator or a lift pulley system? That's the only thing that comes up?
Yeah.
Like, I want to quibble over how we move the paperwork. No, I want to quibble over why it's in the basement. Like, at least it's limestone, and that can pull out a little bit of the humidity. But is that why it's in the basement? 1,000 people? And are they on the list of retirement? Because then you got double jeopardy. I think there are going to be some people who come out of the woodwork and say, I've been waiting for my retirement to be processed, and now I know why it hasn't been.
Yeah. Guys, with all due respect for, obviously, that wonderful company that does that and those employees working really hard, the issue is not the cave. The issue is not the situs. It's the antiquated system. And when they say we've spent $100 million trying to automate it, but they couldn't, well, it wasn't lack of funding. It's the lack of ingenuity, and it's the lack of leadership saying this will be executed. When we think about our medical records, those have all been digitized. We know now, I'm sure, with all of our healthcare, like you have to log on to a portal now. Law firms, the same. Why not the federal government? When I think about the security of this facility, the use of the caves, the protection of data privacy, well, I laugh at the fact that my information among the 92 million Americans whose information was breached during the OPM hack of the government. The point is that this type of mountain is not needed because A, we get breached anyway, or at least we did under the prior administration.
That's right.
And B, that this isn't the kind of paperwork that the CIA needs to preserve. This is exactly what should be automated. To your point, the outrageous shrieks about this should be about what was uncovered. It should not be about the messenger, and it should not be about the attempts to change it. Because at the end of the day, if we want that security of our federal workforce, the safety of our brave warfighters in uniform, then we have to get with the times.
Yeah.
I would just add, we have to hang on to paperwork for the Internal Revenue, the IRS, Internal Revenue Service, for 7 years. They've had stuff down there for decades.
Yeah.
So if we have to keep up with a shorter time, I'm just wondering, what are they hanging on to?
And it is a balance, though, because we know computer systems can fail and be hacked, so having paper records has some efficacy. But regardless, I want to go down in the cave. That is a very exciting-looking cave. Let's go.
Outnumbered in the cave.
Outnumbered from the cave.
Oh, my gosh. No.